This was a White House Correspondents' dinner unlike any other. Hundreds of protesters gathered outside the Washington Hilton to heckle the attendees.
You're celebrating when you go into this dinner. 133 Palestinian journalists in Gaza. Think about that. 33,000 people who have been murdered. More than half of them are children.
We charge you with genocide!
The protesters were particularly incensed that journalists would attend an event with a U.S. president who is himself accused of being complicit in the Israeli killing of so many Palestinian journalists in Gaza.
These journalists that are attending this event should be ashamed of themselves. There's been over 200 days since the start of this genocide. Over 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, and 140 journalists have been targeted by the Israeli government and murdered because they are telling the truth. And instead of speaking out against that and having any journalistic integrity, they're having dinner and laughing with Biden, who's providing billions of dollars to the Israeli government for them to fund this genocide of Palestinians, and they've said nothing.
Gazan journalists wrote an open letter to their colleagues saying, "We insist you publicly boycott the upcoming White House Correspondents' dinner as an act of solidarity with us, your fellow journalists, as well as with the millions of Palestinians currently being starved in Gaza due to the Biden administration's continued political, financial, and military backing of Israel and cut-off of funding for life-saving humanitarian aid." But the US media elite was undaunted and dutifully took their seats in the ballroom. There was only one brief passing reference to the dead Palestinian journalists, and even then without mentioning who was responsible for their killing.
Our profession can be perilous. Since October, about 100 journalists have been killed, most of those deaths in Gaza, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists.
Lined up outside the Washington Hilton, a representation of all the bloodied flak jackets of the journalists killed by the Israelis. And yet, even this display apparently didn't have an effect on the attendance of the US press corps inside. AShihab Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.